Junior cartographer Velani's crystalline form flickered with confusion as she stared at the Galactic database entry for Sol 3, commonly known as Earth. In her 3 centuries of mapping civilized space, she'd never encountered such a blatant error. Supervisor Krex, she chimed, her frequencies conveying deep puzzlement. There's a mistake in the Earth classification. It's listed as both a Class 15 Deathworld, the highest rating possible, and a Nursery planet. These are mutually exclusive categories. Krex floated over, his gaseous form swirling with what Velani recognized as amusement. Ah, your first time reviewing the Earth file. No, young one, there's no error. But that's impossible. A Nursery planet has minimal predators, stable weather, and gentle conditions suitable for raising offspring. A Class 15 Deathworld has, well... She pulled up the checklist. Extreme weather variations including hurricanes, tornadoes, and blizzards. Check. Venomous creatures on land, sea, and air. Check. Predators that hunt in packs. Check. Tectonic instability. Check. Diseases that evolve resistance to treatment. Check. Planetary inhabitants that voluntarily consume capsaicin, a registered neurotoxin. Check. Gravity so high it crushes most species' skeletal systems. Check. All accurate, Krex confirmed. Then how? Pull up the human offspring files, Krex instructed. Velani complied, and her form nearly dispersed in shock. Images filled her display, human younglings barely able to locomote, approaching creatures that would send a warrior-class Zephyrian fleeing in terror. A tiny human larva, no, toddler, attempting to pet something called a dog, which the database identified as a pack-hunting predator descended from apex hunters. This infant is, hugging, a descendant of wolves? Velani's frequencies pitched toward hysteria. Keep reading, Krex urged. More images. Human children climbing trees that could drop them from lethal heights. Swimming in oceans filled with predators. Playing in frozen precipitation that could induce hypothermia. Deliberately seeking out steep hills to roll down on wheeled devices at dangerous speeds. And everywhere, the adults of the species watching with what the database labeled as mild concern or even encouragement. The young one designated Tommy has inserted a local arthropod into his oral cavity, Velani read, horrified. The parental unit's response, extra protein. Now you begin to understand, Krex said. Earth is indeed a Class 15 Deathworld. But humans evolved there. To them, it's not a hostile environment, it's home. Their offspring don't just survive these conditions, they thrive in them. A human child learns to detect and avoid 37 different types of venomous creatures before they can properly communicate. They develop immune systems by exposure to pathogens that would devastate entire civilizations. Velani processed more data. This educational institution called kindergarten includes an activity called dodgeball, where younglings throw projectiles at each other for fun. And that's considered a gentle introduction to their sports, Krex added. Wait until you read about football or rugby. But the Nursery planet designation requires the presence of abundant resources for offspring development, educational systems, and protective social structures. Which Earth has in abundance. Humans dedicate massive resources to their young. They have educational systems that, while teaching mathematics and science, also include playground time where younglings practice social bonding by navigating structures that would qualify as military obstacle courses on other worlds. Their protective instincts for their offspring are so strong that a human parent defending their child makes a berserker-class warrior look restrained. Velani's form stabilized as understanding dawned. So Earth is a Nursery planet where the Nursery is a Class 15 Deathworld. They raise their young in conditions that would kill most sapients because to humans, those aren't deadly conditions. They're Tuesday. A human child who can't handle Earth wouldn't survive to adulthood. So they've created a nurturing environment within what we consider an impossibility, a loving, supportive Deathworld Nursery. Velani updated the file, adding a note, classification paradox resolved. Earth, the only known planet where playground and survival training are synonyms. Approach human younglings with extreme caution. They consider apex predators pets and neurotoxins flavor. As she filed the report, one last image caught her attention, a human child peacefully sleeping while something called a cat, a small predator with retractable claws, lay curled on their chest. The galaxy's most feared Deathworld was also its strangest nursery.